One thing that I used to enjoy with Shiyu defense, regardless of it being too easy, is that it was accessible. Shiyu defense was the first game mode that I could clear, and it was nice because it breached the gap between I am a noob and I'm in the late game. I agree. That's exactly my sentiment. This is like giving crack to speedrunners. Wish they eased us into it a little bit more. And I wish the requirements were a lot more flexible. And especially for players who are relatively newer and returning to the game, especially, in a semi-anniversary patch like this, you want content to be more accessible, not less accessible. Well, gamers. I think it's time to try out the new Shiyu defense. I've heard some interesting chatter around the Shiyu defense, so I want to experience it firsthand and see how good, bad, what are the goods, what are the bads, how these new changes affect the Shiyu defense experience. The stages now, in particular with the 5th stage, is the enhanced stage where now you have to have 3 whole teams versus the regular 2 from, what we've known to be Shiyu defense. So let's see how that affects the balance of everything. So what the front flip, back flip? What the hell is this? Okay, so here we can start with this. I don't know what the hell we're doing. So 1, 2, 3. This is my first impressions, raw impressions. I've not done Shiyu before. I've not done the Shiyu in the C server. This is my raw first impression. So we'll go with that. Boom, flip in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Flip, flip, flip. 1, flip.
Let this sword array.
Did a little oopsie, but I mean, we still got the 3, so that's fine. Flip, flip, boom, up, flip. Now I'm kind of just dicking around. There it is. It's bad for vertical investors that have only one strong character. Hasn't that always been the case, Jester? This game has always wanted you to divest into multiple forms of offense. I don't know what you guys are talking about. No, because the old Shiyu, you can have one bad team and one good team. I guess? But is the team really that bad if you can still clear within the time? Was it that bad of a team? The scores are separated. You need 3 S's instead of a total score. The devs are kind of denge. Okay, I didn't know that. And again, this is my first impression, so I'm piecewising together all this information with you guys. So I'm trying to come up with my conclusions on, real time with you guys. Because you guys already have developed your conclusions on this. Hey folks, it's Post Josh here to tell you about the sponsor of this video, LD Shop. Now, LD Shop has been gracious enough to provide us with some fun perks while we top up to 35% off of our favorite games. Almost any mobile game you play can be found here with bundles for bundles. Wait, that's kind of genius. And off of your first purchase, LD Shop wants to make you a customer for your gacha stay. So they're giving you a top up starting at 22%. All you need to do is take your ID, region, and enter your payment method, which they have it all, and boom. Yeah, you can't miss out on even more savings because I have an additional 15% off code if you use the link below with an extra 5% coupon for later. Take a look at the internet passes. They are $3.60 versus your regular $5. That money adds up, folks. Well, make sure to drop by LD Shop by clicking the link in the description for exclusive perks and discounts. And thank you to LD Shop for sponsoring this video. The shield completely stops your score? Yeah, it's pretty shitty. Wow, that's unfortunate, huh?
Are one with the wind.
Yeah, I'm already over. Ah, I see. That's unfortunate. Yeah, that shield is really disgusting. The parries deal a lot of damage. Ooh. Yeah, I should have parried more then.
Say no more.
Oh, I didn't hold long enough.
Please.
My turn now.
That's unfortunate. Yo, can you attack me?
That's as far as you go. Rest in peace. You have for it.
Think.
Noise, be gone. Yeah.
Hey, good old Minato. Oh my god! He's throwing my game, bro. Penguin staggered him.
That's as far as you go.
That's crazy.
Why struggle? Pretty, right? Noise, be gone.
All right. Okay. So does the scoring thing work? Essentially, you want to get 100,000 points for S plus, correct? S plus doesn't give polys, but the S does. Okay. So how much does it take to get S rank? 25K if I remember correctly. No, not average. Oh, so a 25K. Okay. So 25K average on each to go to 75K. Hold up. Hold on. And then how do you determine the S score? Details. Got it. So if you can get like a max clear, like a max minute clear on one of the three, you should generally be very close to S plusing. It's a 33K average. Yeah. So the bottom end to get S's, you have to get an S rank in the room, which is 25K. Now that is a little tough, especially for the F2Ps, because you need 3 really solid performing teams, right? And even here, like I was trolling, but like you could see how people can struggle if they don't have teams that are oriented around these particular characters. Here's the trick. If you mash your head on the keyboard and front load everything, you get more boids. If you don't, kill, stop playing, or sorry, and stall. No. Stop playing and stall at the end. You get more points. What? Wait, sorry, what? Explaining new Shiyu defense and why it's a step towards pay to win. The TLDR from the splits of the multiplier. Front loading damage is ideal, and it's easier to front load damage with premium teams. Let's start from the top and make a drop. TLDR to 5 times for the first minute, and then you lose out on percentage multipliers going from there. Basically, you have 1 minute to score as much points as possible, after which your multiplier starts to bleed, and your run is mostly done after around the 2-minute 30 mark. How does the scoring work from this? It is split between 2 things, your damage score and your elimination score. Score caps off at 50K. The best multiplier is 5x, which is the first minute. This means getting a max score requires destroying the enemies and boss under a minute. The total score without multipliers should be around 10,000. Splits doesn't really matter outside of estimating how many points you can grab after 2 minutes. After the 2 minutes, your run is mostly done, and you can, more or less, guess how many points you have left to grab based on the boss's HP. For instance, if you're at 20k points at the 230 mark and the boss is at 50%, that means you still have around 8,000 times 50%, which is 4,000 points to grab. Okay, that's easy to follow. So your total should be around 24. It's not an S run because you're not 25. So how do we win? Front load as much damage as you can. Don't wait for stun windows. Any damage dealt in the first minute is worth more than any damage dealt in the next minute. The timing of your bursts matter a lot more than defeating the boss. Bursting the boss at 410 gives you 19% more points than bursting him at 359 or past the 4-minute mark. I see. Got you. So the scores are incentivizing you front loading your damage and just tossing shit to the wind. This is like giving crack to speedrunners. This is incentivizing you even that much more to finish within under the minute. I feel like this goes without saying that any step towards harder content is also naturally a step towards pay to win, especially when the difficulty is inclusive of a timer. I just don't understand why they changed it. I thought it was fine how it is. Yeah, I didn't think anyone was complaining about it in the Stardust. I wasn't complaining about it. In fact, for me, in my suggestion of Shiyu defense, I thought they were just going to introduce a whole new Shiyu defense. I thought they were going to keep the 8 levels. And then once you beat the 8 levels, you got 1 extra level to do, instead of reworking the thing entirely. I dislike the new Shiyu. It feels like DA 2.0. It is an amalgamation of Deadly Assault and Shiyu, right? You need the 3 units. Is the floor of Shiyu more difficult than the floor of DA? Because you don't have a shield buff. And yeah, I know a couple people are mentioning Kate, because Kate does a lot of Shiyu based content. I'm definitely a more Deadly Assault person, so a lot of my adjustments and guides and such are in consideration of Deadly Assault over Shiyu, but that might have to change. There are some pain points, especially when you include Shiyu defense stages that have like, oh, you have your electric shield mech guy that prevents you from minute clearing unless you have like a cracked out, I don't know, Yanagi or something, which, I should have used Yanagi and I probably would have got a better score. The one thing that I think players are holistically against is the unique builds. Coming from Genshin Impact, I generally do have unique builds for most of my characters. Again, a lot of players do not have the luxury, and especially at the time, because again, it's my job to play this game. I'm in a very privileged position. It's my job to play this game so that I can educate you guys on X, Y, or Z, right? So I'm in a position where I get to do this stuff and I get to build out the characters. I get to try out the characters, see all the permutations. And that allows me a very, very much more flexible time, especially within these endgame modes that do require 3 teams, excuse me. If I wasn't a content creator, if I wasn't a big baller spender, I wouldn't even have 3 rows of S ranks. I would barely have 1 row of S ranks to use. And that already cuts down my score because of the potential of the offense, let alone other vertical investments like Mindscapes that help get you off the ground faster, especially in a fight that is predicated on time. Because I didn't have it, I said at the very beginning, I had no opinion on Shiyu defense before, but coming now to the further conclusions, and starting to get a lot of this data, not even just the average player, even some endgame players are going to struggle. Not even just the average players. Some lower end endgame players are going to struggle. 9 units, unique builds. Dang, man. That's why it's called endgame. There's something to be said about easing players in. As a developer, it would behoove me to ease players into a new system. Because if you can imagine, chat, that they're jumping us to this level, and eventually we're going to get to the level. Eventually we're going to match the level. We play a little bit more. We invest into our characters more. We get newer characters, blah, blah, blah. Regardless if you spend or not, you're probably, if you consistently play, you'll probably get a couple more S ranks in the next, 12 weeks, couple months. Right? Eventually you'll match the level. Does feel quite jarring now. And that's not a good thing. They eased us into it a little bit more. Into the new Shiyu defense. It's time to jump into the new Shiyu defense. Now, I was holding off on making a Shiyu defense kind of reaction video because I wanted to see what the refreshed version of Shiyu defense would be. I mentioned it in my very first impressions of Shiyu from a couple weeks ago, like 2 weeks ago. I thought it was a huge gut punch. I did not like the way that they had segmented out the certain tiers of S and S plus could be a little bit more accommodating in the sense that like just your overall accrued scores would get you to the S and S plus versus like having 2 S in each of the stages to be able to get an S or S plus ranking. That was a little bit of a concern to me. I know not a lot of people put too much stock into sharing drive discs and stuff like that, but if you're like a budget account, you're sharing a lot of your drive discs, and that does become a problem. So I'm very intrigued to see how this Shiyu defense stacks up. Okay, so we're looking at, what the hell is this thing? Oh, the Scorpus, the freaking Honkai Star Rail bug. And then the Miasmic Terror Raptor. I think that's like a Sammy boss probably. I'm thinking using Sammy there. And what is this guy? It's Thracian with multiple 3 waves. Why do you do this? Why do you make it timed and make it 3 fucking waves? Something that I used to enjoy with Shiyu defense, regardless of it being too easy, regardless of content creators being like, yeah, I just don't care about it anymore because it's too easy, is that it was accessible, right? It was a somewhat like easier endgame mode that, outside of Deadly Assault, which was already difficult in itself, was that it was an okay testing ground, an intermediary from especially the older content. In particular, What I mean by older content, let's say like you're returning to the game. It's still a good gauge for you if you're returning or just a completely new player to the game. Oh yeah, I can jump into Shiyu defense and like do okay. I might not, you know, get all the stars or whatever, but it'll give me a direction, and then I'll be able to jump into Deadly Assault later. And that's how I always saw Shiyu defense, not necessarily as like an equal endgame mode. And now arguable that is slightly more difficult than Deadly Assault. Let's take a look at the Shiyu defense. Shiyu defense was the first game mode that I could clear, and it was nice because it breached the gap between I am a noob and I'm in the late game. I agree. That's exactly my sentiment. Exactly. You nailed it right on the head. It's that first line in the sand, in the very, very arbitrary sand, where you're like, oh, I can start attempting some endgame modes now. And Shiyu defense was like a stepwise, you know, one of the steps towards that. Now we're missing that step. One more caveat. I recognize my bias as a content creator, as someone who spent hours and hours in this game, not only just playing, but actively learning, testing, and improving my skills in gameplay. Am I the top 0.001 player? No. But I'm a damn good player, and I have all the resources I would need in this game and some to be able to succeed in this game mode. Will my judgments of this game mode be predicated on that? Not necessarily, but I understand where my biases come from, because I want my review of this specific Shiyu defense alongside the previous one to come with fair, you know, with as much fairness as I can provide, whether that's praise or criticism. Going. Let's get this going. Oh, I missed. That's unfortunate. That's so unfortunate I missed. Yikes, Mo. It's fine. It's just a couple seconds off. But like, yikes. That was arguably the easiest one out of the others, because the other one has like a third stage, has a third wave. Cringe. Josh, can you do the last stage without Yishen? I'll try. I mean, we're gonna do a little bit of testing. That's what we're doing right now. So we'll be doing a little bit of testing. Damn, I needed them grouped. That's unfortunate. Hello, mister. Give me one of those. What the hell? Can I defeat him before Miasma stage? I'm pretty sure I can, right, chat? I want to pop this first. And then pop this.
Will reach its mark. Roger that.
No! Ah, misplay. Ah, that's a couple seconds. Oh, I thought I parried that. That was a mistake. M1, M2 actually. Nice bloom. Ow! Stop! Did I just miss my freaking EX special? That's kind of cringe.
Mind and body.
Oh, I didn't see because the score didn't fill by the end because it was around like 36, 37. Oh, yeah. I wasn't paying attention to the finished wrapped up scores because I looked at the score like 3 seconds before it finished. Yeah. Okay. Better score. All right. What do we start with here first? Do we start with Jufufu? Yeah, just to get damage off the bat, huh? Okay, this guy we just gotta eliminate. Let's pop this. Okay. Harassing guy. Oh, that was a little bit early on my Lucia. Fuck. That's not good. Okay, I might need to reapply Jufufu pretty soon. Nice. Pop this. Slow him down. This could be good here. This could be good here. Damn! I wish I had the quick chain prompt, man. No, don't do this to me. I was one. You should ult off. Fuck you. No, my score. No. I fucking had him by the fucking balls, bro. My God. I had a 50K. I had a fucking 50K. Plus is already here. Yeah, but like, you know, as principle of wanting to get a higher score, you know, it's not just about like getting S plus and S for me. It's about like proper gameplay. It's about executing. Let's see if the Miyabi team does well. Let's see. Let's see. Oh my God. Wait, I actually fucking cleared them. Let's pop this. I want resources. Without the M2s, you probably run into Miasma phase. Without M2, you run into Miasma phase and your score is probably like sub 30. And that's not even optimized. That's just me tossing shit. That's just me tossing shit out there, you know? Again, I'm not basing it off of the score. I'm basing it off of the ease of use. And you can use this team. If you know anything about Disorder comps or Miyabi, you can still use it to clear. So we've tested out a few comps. And we'll say, in terms of the scores are going to be where people feel hit the most. I don't think it's necessarily the characters or the stages that people feel just like are just outright atrocious. Even though, granted, I do not like 3 waves. 3 waves is just like, even though they're easy, it's just like unnecessary. I've been on the record from day one saying I don't like the scoring system. I feel like it should be a lot more easier on the restrictions. If you're going to require to get all 3 S's to be able to accumulate to 100,000 score, versus like someone who just started the game and who just built yeshunguang, you know, maybe they get like a 30-40k here and then they sprinkle in a couple of extra points to be able to get 100k, but since they didn't get an S in one or whatever, blah 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 blah, then they're gatekept from that S plus rank. And let's say chat, you know, I have 2 really nasty fucking good teams. I have some nasty good teams, and that was like pre-Shiyu. Let's say pre-Shiyu, I had some nasty good teams. I have a Yushen team and I have a Miyabi team. I just have 2 really fucking good teams, and I get 2 really good scores. Let's say you got 40 here and a 40 here, and then you get like a 20 here, 25. Yeah, let's say you get 20. Yeah. So let's say you got 40, 40, 20, right? You can't get S plus. You know, obviously that's an edge case, but that's a reality for quite a few people, especially pushing towards Endgame. And let alone can people even scratch 100k in the first place. No Yishen, no S rank for most players, it seems. I would have to agree, because without Yishen and without a dedicated rupture team, you're stripping away the supports that you would use for the upper teams here. So how much are you going to be able to run budget here to be able to clear this in a timely manner? It's very, very difficult, because again, you have to think of it from 3 teams now, right? And again, I don't want my gameplay to be a specific like indicator of like, oh, I cleared it, so everybody should clear it. You know, that's definitely not it. I actually have a lot of sympathy for you know, the casuals, and I think more so for the tourists these days. You know, and I use tourists in a very loving manner, because there are a lot of people who don't spend a lot of time in the game, and where they felt like, oh, Shiyu Defense was a game mode I could still clear as far as endgame. Maybe DA, maybe I missed one or 2 stars. It's fine. But now you need 3 teams instead of 2. You need to get 25 to even, you know, scratch the S rank, which for some of these teams is quite difficult because of the extra, you know, requirements of the certain waves, right? Because I am in a very privileged position where I can have mindscapes that help me to ramp up faster on my teams. You're not getting that Miyabi clear without M1, M2, without yeshunguang. This side is tough. And then me having M1, M2 allows me to ramp up even that much faster, so that I just did not care about these two guys here. I just go straight into max output damage against Bug. And that was a huge gripe from the first time around. Same goes for here. I don't think I would have been able to do it without pulling yeshunguang and Sig. Nah, you could definitely do it, Sumo. Yeah, budget yeshunguang with Brimstone clears easy. Crazy. I got 91k with 0 men. So if you added more men, you probably would have got it. So yeah, that's kind of on you. If you just have more men, you know, I understand that people can take their time and, you know, work out these stages, but it's going to take a lot more of an effort now. And whether people want to put in that time and effort, that's to each person. But the bottom line is that the level has been raised in a way that I felt like could have been much more accommodating for the general player base. And I think one of the terms I think I've used before was like easing players in, right? We could have eased players into this. Go a little bit lighter, go a little bit nicer. Now, it's not to say it's all doom and gloom, because clearly I can run, you know, these stages with all resistant characters, and with a modicum amount of skill, I should be able to at least 25k. Again, that's where my bias comes in, and that I am a game player. I have synced hours and hours and hours into playing, into testing. I have access to creator early access servers, so I get access to characters, or like, let's say, you know, for example, yeshunguang. I knew how to play yeshunguang even before you even pulled her, chat. So that is some of the luxuries and the biases that I come into the conversation with, and I understand that. My criticisms are fair enough in trying to sympathize with the general player base. Now, I understand that this mode, arguably, like I said, even is somewhat more restrictive than Deadly Assault. let's do a tier list of like relevant Shiyu characters. I don't really care about the SAB or whatever. Just understand that these are more relevant, these are less relevant. These are the best characters in the entire game, chat. These are just, S rank is like, I highly suggest you use them for Shiyu. They're going to help you to get your S rank clear. Will they help you get S plus? That determines on your investment level, but these characters have been proven to clear. They made this jump, right? Excuse me, let's rework this a little bit, right? And we as the player base, we have to always meet the level of expectation. And right now, we're at a point where, we're about right here. We're at a transitionary point where the content has jumped up quite a bit and we're gonna meet the level. Give us a couple weeks. We'll be like, Shiyu was never really an issue. But is this a gut punch? 100%. And especially for players who are relatively newer and returning to the game, especially, in a semi-anniversary patch like this, you want content to be more accessible, not less accessible. I think that's all. There's an also added element to that. This is a patch where a lot of people are returning to the game, or maybe they're super casual and they barely even play the game, but they're like, oh, okay, I think yeshunguang should be able to carry me through everything. Well, obviously, clearly not. But again, I talk about unnecessary roadblocks, especially, when it comes to not sharing drives, or not being able to get S plus without having to S ranked everything. Unnecessary roadblocks when you should be accommodating to the player base in that sense. And I don't feel like those requests are necessarily unreasonable outside of the other comments that other people have, right? Especially when it comes to like the specific teams. That's just my 2 cents. And hey, folks, we'll monitor Shiyu defense. My job is to empower you guys, to help you guys, to account review for you guys, to VOD review for you guys. We help not only your builds, but your gameplay. That's my job, to get you guys to that next level. And right now, more than ever, I think you guys could utilize the resources that we have here on the channel to be able to find ways to get success faster. Anyways, that's my little Shiyu review. Now that we have 2 data points for Shiyu defense, I was waiting on the next Shiyu refresh to actually make a Shiyu commentary video of sorts. Even as a player who clearly just blew through the content, I can see the issues that lie in front of you guys. So I just want to be able to provide you guys with a little bit more clarity and insight, as well as be able to empower you guys to overcome these things, grow, and be able to succeed in the game. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's your boy Josh, and see you in the next one.